Inequality refers to the phenomenon of unequal distribution of resources and opportunities among members of a given society. We are not all equal, and that is why inequality matters today. In fact, President Obama calls it the defining challenge of our time.
It is because poverty as a topic as well as a socio-economic issue has always seen more attractive than inequality. Adding to that, everybody loves the optics of helping the poor, and when people talk about inequality, it almost surely sounds like we are after rich people's money.
By inequality, we mean income inequality. From the 1950s to the present, the contribution of the top 10% to the national income of the country has increased steadily, which is not as dangerous as its cousin, wealth inequality.
The top 1% of Indians hold more wealth in India than the bottom 90% of the country. The heirs of Ambani each own more than 3,000 crores in wealth. That makes those people more wealthier than bottom 40% of India. This money is often rewarded for people who are born into the right family.
Hey, they got lucky. What's the problem here? The problem is money. Money keeps growing. That is a big point economist Thomas Piketty makes in his new book, that the rate of return on wealth is higher than the growth rate of the overall economy. So people who have a lot of wealth tend to get wealthier and wealthier unless something like a war or a tax intervenes.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better.
And what are the people going to do?
That's the $64,000 question.
A decade ago, robots still seemed pretty limited. Now, not so much. And this astronomical growth of technology has put many out of the work. And this makes workers paranoid. And thus, inequality deepens its claws on the Indian economy.
The term globalization is often invoked to describe the process of increasing interdependence and global investment. Technological progress and trade work together to squeeze workers. Cheap technology made in foreign economies undermines the bargaining power of rich world workers directly and makes it easier for firms to replace people with machines.
Being born in a well-off family opens new doors which are not within the reach of the poor of our country, and hence the divide of inequality widens.
A high level of economic inequality means a higher level of poverty. Poverty is associated with increased crime and poor public health, which places burdens on the economy. A widening rich-poor gap tends to increase the rate of rent-seeking and predatory market behaviors that hinders economic growth.
Fyodor Dostoevsky, in his novel Crime and Punishment, depicts how poverty and the burden of responsibilities can spin a young and ambitious man's mind into delusion that makes him think of killing a pawnbroker is justified. The underlying concept here is inequality, which is also put across in Stephen Spencer's poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum.
When the wealth distribution becomes concentrated in a small number of hands, political power tends to become skewed in favor of that small wealthy group. In democratic societies that lack public financing of campaigns such as in India, political figures require private financial backing to run effective campaigns. In addition, lower income groups tend to spend more time at work or securing basic needs. Consequently, they are less able to invest time or money to obtain political knowledge or participate in the political process.
Oh boy, this is a controversial one. Before jumping into detail, in India, only 3% of the population pays tax. That is not because millions of people are laundering the money, it's because much of the Indian population is poor. So now, should we tax our rich? We propose an alternative to taxing the income of the rich, which is taxing their wealth and their inheritance on top of their income taxes.
Companies have liberally used tax havens, tax planning, and transfer pricing. Various complex accounting mechanisms and international loopholes are used by companies and individuals to reduce their tax burden.
Of the parents of Harvard University undergrad students right now corresponds to the average income of the top 2% of the US distribution of family.
And that is exactly why
A good quality public education is liberating for individuals. It can also be an equalizer within society.
If we don't break the chains of inequality now,
The cycle of wealth buying power
And power buying wealth.
And wealth means more power.
and power means more wealth.
And on we go.
Until a very small fraction of people
Have a whole lot of power and a whole lot of money.